This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the Dunedin City Council has announced changes to what plastics can be recycled. A nationwide free school lunch program is beginning its trial in the South. And almost a dozen Catholic schools collected non-perishable food in recognition of needy families across the city. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The Dunedin City Council has announced changes to what plastics can be recycled. Waste Minimisation Officer Catherine Gledhill hopes the changes will influence people's choices at the supermarket.
The rules are changing in regards to which plastics can be recycled.
That we're no longer going to be accepting certain types of plastic, but what we need to focus on is what we will be accepting, so numbers 1, 2 and 5. And the reasons for that is that actually there's very little market for the remainder, so the 3, 4s, 6s and 7s, and actually they only make up about 3% of the packaging that you might find in the supermarket anyway.
DCC Waste Minimisation Officer Catherine Gledhill is asking people to shop smarter and says some products have clear directions on them spelling out what can be recycled and what can't. And she says, if in doubt, leave it out.
If it doesn't have a number, like I've searched this high and low for a recycling number and can't find one, so I'm going to dispose of that to the rubbish.
Most of the city's plastic is recycled offshore, but she says some is recycled locally. Gledhill says the Dunedin City Council isn't acting alone on this, as other local government organisations are making similar changes.
There's a number of councils across New Zealand now who have adopted much the same idea, so only accepting 1, 2s and 5s. Some aren't taking 5s, but we are. And also the removal of caps, lids, tops, you know, whether it's glass bottle or plastic, we want those off as well now.
She says plastic caps aren't being accepted either, as they have been contaminating otherwise clean recycling products. The changes come into effect on Monday, and the council says inspectors will be checking recycling bins for contamination and reminding people of the changes. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Smoke blanketed Queenstown Central Business District this morning as firefighters battled below zero temperatures to extinguish a car fire. Emergency services were called to Stanley Street about 9:40 this morning to reports of an SUV on fire. Firefighters from the Queenstown Volunteer Fire Brigade were able to quickly bring the blaze under control, but the water use quickly froze over. Both the driver and passenger managed to escape, collecting most of their luggage from the car. Once the road was cleared, it had to be gritted by council workers because of the ice left from the water. About 3,000 Otago and Southland pupils are getting ready to tuck into free lunches as part of the government's Free and Healthy Lunches program. The nationwide program has been introduced in stages, and this is the first time it has come to the South.
Youngsters can count on a free lunch every day at Dunedin's Pine Hill School, which is one of 18 from the region to have joined the government's Free and Healthy Lunches program. School Principal Mel Ward says there's more benefits from the scheme than meet the eye.
It's not just about the children getting free lunch every day, it's around the teaching of eating healthy, the trying of new foods for children that hopefully they can go home and say, oh, we tried this today, we had hummus and carrots, can we buy this in our groceries?
She says fruit are cut up into child-sized portions and the free meals are much appreciated by the pupils.
I deliver it into the classroom sort of at about 29 minutes past 12, and you can see the wee faces sort of being like, oh, I wonder what's in the lunch today, and they're just all thrilled when they receive it. And I guess one of the really cool things is that everyone's eating the same food, so there's no sort of stigma or somebody's got more than anybody else, which is really good for the children as well. Yeah.
All up, 60 schools across the country are taking part in the program so far, with plans by the end of next year for about 200,000 children in lower decile schools to get a free lunch. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Kmart will not reopen its premises in Dunedin's Meridian Mall. The department store has decided not to renew its lease, which was due to expire in September. Instead, Kmart will explore other sites for reopening in Dunedin. The company says it's committed to being part of the city well into the future, but no time frame has been provided for a reopening. The Dunedin store closed for lockdown and never reopened, citing concerns about earthquake strengthening needed at the mall. The St Vincent de Paul Society say they're overwhelmed by the generosity of school pupils. Almost a dozen Catholic schools collected non-perishable food in recognition of needy families across the city.
Dunedin's St Vincent de Paul's food bank got a boost this week thanks to the generosity of local Catholic schools.
So last week, 10 schools of the community of Catholic learning came together and had brought donations of hygiene products and non-perishable foods to put towards St Vincent de Paul.
The non-perishable food was sorted out in Kavanagh College's auditorium yesterday by pupils who, after coming out of lockdown, saw a need to support others in the Dunedin community.
We talked about how making a little donation can make a big impact on some people's lives, and that as part of a community we can do that to help out each other.
The pupils say they realised they can make a huge difference to the lives of others.
We're donating food to St Vincent de Paul so that the people who don't have as much as us can get something to eat.
We will be giving the food to our community so everybody can get something to eat so people won't be hungry.
The food collection was also part of the pupils' social justice project for this year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, we catch up with a local artist holding his first solo exhibition in a few years. And we meet the New Zealand First candidate for the Taieri District electorate. So see you after the break.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Hi, Lindsay Campbell. We're back in Invercargill again. We're here for a month. We've got a men's fashion clearance at up to 70% off. We're right beside the Motorcycle Mecca. Check them out too. Jackets, lovely knitwear, scarves, hats, you name it, we'll keep you warm. Come and see us at the menswear fashion clearance pop-up.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
That's the Alex Campbell Menswear pop-up store in Invercargill.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member. And we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Welcome back. Port Chalmers-based artist Jim Cooper is having his first solo exhibition in a few years in Dunedin from this evening. The sculptor is known for his use of vibrant colours across a variety of media and is pleased to be showing for the first time in a while.
Artist Jim Cooper's work has ranged from material pieces to ceramics, and now he's branching out into a new, more malleable direction, partially due to COVID-19.
I couldn't access materials, so paper mache. I couldn't find any paint during lockdown, so I started to cover the work with fabric and gift wrap and just things that I could source easily.
Whereas his fabric works are sewn using a fairly heavy-duty machine, and ceramic pieces are kiln-fired, with both processes creating permanent artworks which are tricky to revisit. He says paper mache can easily be reworked.
I can revisit it and come back to it and put it away and come back to it. The thing with ceramic being that it needs to go in a kiln, it needs to be fired, and when it's dry it's difficult to add to it. So a lot of decision making goes on in the making process that's quite final.
It's been a while since Cooper held a solo show, as is partially evident by the sheer number of pieces at Dunedin's Brett McDowell Gallery. Cooper says there are a few reasons why his colourful art has been in the shadows.
I don't know how to define that. I'd just come to the end of something and it just wasn't time. It wasn't time to show, it wasn't time to share the work, it was just time to just wait. I think probably, it's just about being.
Jim Cooper's first solo show in a couple of years opens at the Brett McDowell Gallery in Dunedin on Friday, July the 3rd. In Dunedin, the South Today.
New Zealand is set to go to the polls in a few months' time at the general election. Sitting New Zealand First List MP Mark Patterson is putting his hand up for the Tairi seat as the boundary changes now mean his farm is within the electorate.
New Zealand First List MP Mark Patterson announcing his candidacy, boots and all. The newly formed Tairi electorate is looking like an interesting seat, as the new boundaries bring in a group who typically vote more conservatively. New Zealand First List MP Mark Patterson's farm at Lawrence is now in the electorate, and he's putting his hand up for the seat, citing his experience as a current Member of Parliament.
Well, I've been in Parliament for 3 years, obviously, so I think that counts. I'll be the only sitting MP in the race. But also, I've had 30 years of hands-on farming experience as an owner-operator, so I've run my own business. I understand the agricultural stuff pretty deeply, which is obviously a huge part of the New Zealand economy.
He was at a meeting with racing industry people at Dunedin's Forbury Park Raceway recently. His party has come under fire in relation to the major shake-up of the racing industry via the Racing Industry Transition Agency, known as RITA.
Yeah, I'm just here to hear their issues. Essentially the racing colours set by RITA, the Racing Industry Transition Authority, so they're working through those dynamics with RITA, and as I have in other areas, in Gore in particular, I've advocated for some increase in the racing there, and I'm more than happy to do it here if the case is strong enough as well.
New Zealand First promotes itself as a centrist party, which is something Patterson says is evident from their work during the Ardern-led government.
I think we've been a moderating influence on this government. We've been constructive, but where we felt the government was going maybe too far to the left, we've stepped in. But we've also done things like the Provincial Growth Fund, which and of course hillside workshops in the very beating heart of Dunedin. We've managed to revive that through that fund.
However, with the election looming, Patterson says all bets are off and the party is open for discussions with either side of the House.
It's always been our position that we could work with either side. You let the voters decide what proportion that each party has in the Parliament, and then if we're in the privileged position of being able to negotiate to be in the next government, we would be prepared to work with both sides.
His party hasn't done too well in recent polling, but New Zealand First leader Winston Peters has famously said on several occasions, there's only one poll which matters: Election Day. New Zealand goes to the polls on September the 20th. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we have the latest edition of Rugby Chat with host Paul Dwyer, and we have the weekend's weather for you, so stay with us.
Evening, I'm from the Parks Department. Have you got a permit for that fire?
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Hi, Lindsay Campbell. We're back in Invercargill again. We're here for a month. We've got a men's fashion clearance at up to 70% off. We're right beside the motorcycle Mecca. Check them out too. Jackets, lovely knitwear, scarves, hats, you name it, we'll keep you warm. Come and see us at the menswear fashion clearance pop-up.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
That's the Alex Campbell Menswear pop-up store in Invercargill.
Garage Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garage quality service. Garage Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. After the longest pre-season ever, Dunedin Premier Club Rugby finally kicks off this weekend. Rugby Chat host Paul Dwyer talks to Hayden Finch about who they think will come out on top this weekend and which teams are already looking like championship material.
Look, today I've gone to the top. I've got Hayden Finch in from Spates. Coach extraordinaire. He's coached at Arrowtown, he's coached at Tyree, he's coached everywhere. He might have coached at the Otago Bees at some stage. So Hayden, mate, there's a lot going on, but the season's finally here. It's about time. You must be getting excited.
Yeah, well, that's it's finally here in Dunedin. Obviously, South Otago's been kicked off for a couple of weeks and Central for 1 week, and by all means, there's been some great games and some big crowds.
Come on and talk about what's happening this weekend. Okay, so the games are, so I'll start with you. The first game on our list here, Dunedin Tyree. What are you picking?
I don't know if it would be an upset, but dare I say I might go Dunedin this weekend.
It's for a big trophy, by the way, this weekend. It's for the Walker Fitzgerald, as we like to call it, but I think the Tyree they call it the Fitzgerald Walker. Yeah, look, I think, that's an interest. That's a pretty neat too close to call. Harbour versus Southern. Harbour playing at home down at Watson Park.
And Harbour haven't had a great pre-season, but I'm going to pick Harbour this weekend.
So you're picking Harbour. And then you've got Varsity against one of our wild cards, Alhambra Union. Where are you going there?
So hard to pick because obviously Varsity couldn't field a front row last week, could they? I don't think.
Still had a few away from what I hear, so they've been struggling for front rows. I presume they'll be back this week, but yeah. And as I said, that Alhambra Union is quite a big pack.
I'm going to go Alhambra Union because Varsity aren't used to starting the season off in the wet.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, and the last game is the Super Club. Kaikorai taking on, and as you know, there's a lot of feeling between these two clubs right now, which we shouldn't be promoting. Sort of like the St Kevin's and Waitaki Boys thing that's going on at the moment. So there's a lot of feeling. There'll be a lot of feeling in this game from both sides. It's more from the spectators than I imagine than from the players.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. This is the Spates game of the round as well, and one I'm covering. So
you're doing this game?
Doing this one. I'm looking forward to it, and I just think on paper, Kaikorai just look a wee bit strong for Green Island this week. Green Island obviously great team culture and stuff, but I just think without a Dylan Now and a Ray Nui, they just might struggle in the wet, earlier on.
Okay. Look, so there it is. Look, I'm going to go Dunedin to beat Tyree, as you would have thought. I'm going to stick with Harbour. I think Harbour at home, very, very hard to beat. University of Alhambra, look, I'll go the safe route. I'll stick with Varsity to win that, just. And Kaikorai Green Island, well, I've already picked them as the Super Club. They probably won't lose a game all year, so I'll take Kaikorai. And we will be back with you again next week.
The full episode of this week's Rugby Chat will play after today's news bulletin at 6 p.m. or can be watched anytime on odt.co.nz. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The Dunedin City Council has announced changes to what plastics can be recycled. A nationwide free school lunch program is beginning its trial in the South. And almost a dozen Catholic schools collected non-perishable food in recognition of needy families across the city. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Craig Page.
Good evening.
And it's a big one for Saturday?
Yeah, it is. Good to see plenty of news in there. And we've got some good news for a change as well, which is always nice to see in these tough times. Story about Forbury Park. Now, we carried a report not so long ago with the racing restructuring that's going on, that they were going to actually lose their meetings. I think they had 20 odd last year. Weren't going to get any in the upcoming season. They were threatening all sorts, really, legal action if they didn't get their case. But we've got confirmation today that they will get 10 meetings for next year and 10 greyhound meetings as well. So a bit of a saviour for them. Probably not as many as they wanted.
But still, they've managed to save those races.
Yeah, they have managed to turn it around. They're naturally delighted, and financial struggle for Forbury Park. But they've also confirmed that they have sold some of the land out there as well for residential sections. So there's going to be some sections freed up out there. So yeah, things looking up a little bit for Forbury Park when it was all doom and gloom not so long ago.
Oh, great to hear.
Yeah, now Simon Bridges is in town, remember him? We caught up with him.
Forgotten. Who's he?
Yeah, that's that guy that used to be the National Party leader. He's in town today, and we caught up with him about life not being the leader of the National Party anymore. Certainly looking a lot more relaxed than he was a few weeks ago. And unlike other, I guess, ousted leaders, Bridges said he didn't seriously think about giving politics away after being ousted as leader, and still thinks he's only in his early 40s, so still thinks he's got a lot to offer National Party and New Zealand politics. So he's looking forward to things. So we'll see how things go in September, I guess.
Wait and see.
Yeah, lots of sport tomorrow. Of course, club rugby, which you've mentioned as well, but I guess the focus is going to be the big clash between the Highlanders and the Crusaders at the stadium Saturday night.
Are you going?
No, I'm not. I'm going to Wanaka to follow the dancing with my daughter, unfortunately. Fortunately. So yeah, the Highlanders need to win to stay in touch with the competition leaders. But putting the rugby aside, big weekend for Dunedin as well. The crowd of 18,000 at this stage, will be more. So lots to spend around the city and give the city a boost. Be great.
Fantastic, thanks for that. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the city view of the roundabout in the Dunedin suburb of Roslyn. Looking at the situation, a broad area of low pressure lies over southern districts this weekend, bringing some cloud and outbreaks of rain. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are looking at mostly grey skies, rain and highs of 13 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect a cloud or two and 13 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, it will be fine for most places here. Kaikoura should reach 13, Christchurch 11 and Ashburton heads for 12. To the southern towns, plan for moderate northerlies with rain easing. The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all aiming for a high of 9 degrees. Heading to central Otago, you can expect moderate northerlies with rain for all areas. Wanaka and Alexandra head for 8, Queenstown should reach 7 degrees, while Tiana aims for a high of 9. To the northern towns on the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect moderate winds and showers. Timaru should reach 11 and 10 degrees for you, Oamaru. And inland, Twizel and Marama can plan for moderate northerlies, some rain with 8 degrees. In Dunedin, it's going to be cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 6 degrees. Overcast tomorrow with light rain developing later in the afternoon, looking at a high of 8 and a low of 6 degrees. And there's lighter winds on Sunday, overcast with light rain at times, still rather cold, a high of 10 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill, some rain tonight with an overnight low of 8 degrees. Rain tomorrow morning, easing to showers and fine periods during the afternoon. Fresh northerly winds die out with a high of 10 and a low of 8 degrees. Cloudy with showers on Sunday, along with light westerlies, looking at a high of 11 and a low of 8 degrees. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.